Well, it's quite a range of emotions that you take us through in Heaven and Earth, and as an actor, I guess I can wonder if maybe you haven't found this to be as big a challenge as you've ever had, or not.
No, it's not the biggest challenge I've ever had. I mean, but I don't rank challenges. I don't have a list of challenges, you know, the greatest at the top. And, I mean, what would be your slightest challenge?
Yeah.
So you don't know, but
Maybe just the word range of situations and attitudes that this script puts you through.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I was really, you know, glad to have a job, and I, you know, tried to do it as well as I could.
Now, as an actor, to make your living doing what you're doing has to be the most rewarding thing in the world, because as an actor, the only way you can work is to actually act, if that doesn't sound like too much of a paradox. Is it still something where you're glad to have the work, or is it to the point now where you have to turn away work? You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have to say no to a lot of offers that I get because I don't have time to do them all. I say no to some of them because the script isn't quite good enough, or that some other part of the team might be a little bit weaker than I want to play with. But as far as being an actor, I love it. I'm not bored with it. It's not old to me. It's to me a very happy way to live. I feel I'm very lucky and privileged to have earned my living with my imagination
And
all of my working life.
And how else could most of us maybe have gone some of the places that your profession has taken you to, such as Thailand in this case?
Yeah, well, you know, really, it's. I hope people like it because, you know, we aim to please, and we think that's, you know, what we're for.
What was it like over there for you, climate-wise and just living conditions? What did you learn about Thailand while you were over there?
Oh, I learned those are the sweetest people I've ever seen. I love those people.
Yeah. Climate-wise, do you see how landscape could make a character what he or she is? In other words, just the climate over there, things like that.
Yeah. Well, transportation, the ways of, you know, agriculture, agricultural methods, migratory patterns. Those are, you know, important factors in what makes a people the way they are. All of those countries relate somehow, sooner or later, more or less to China. And that country has a fascinating history, and very interesting history.
Did you shoot this film chronologically? That is, were you able to come back to the States after having shot the sequences there?
Yeah, we did all the things that happened in Southeast Asia. We were shot in Thailand.
Yeah, and you did that first?
Yeah, and then we came home and did all the stuff that happens over here.
So then, coming home, were you able to see maybe home with slightly different eyes after having been over there?
I had different eyes in my head.
Because we've got wide-angle eyes when those refrigerators open up, when we go down the aisles of those grocery stores. And maybe we're seeing things a little bit differently ourselves.
I hope the movie offers an interesting and a refreshing and an informative point of view.
Yeah. There's some marvelous comedy in those scenes.
Good. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. I suppose a film like this, justifiably, will always be considered in serious terms, but there's some great humor in this thing.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, I'm glad. I mean, I'm good. That's important. There's also some very fine, just beauty, just plain beauty in it also.
Well, when you crack that big smile and you hear on the soundtrack she's saying, "Hey, that's the face.
Oh,
that's the face of America." You almost wonder that maybe somebody knew that line and then thought of you and said, "Yes, that's the connection." And maybe makes the whole thing work. I don't know. Is comedy something that I'm trying to think? Is it something that you've done before?
We did a comedy for Oliver called Natural Born Killers. That's a bit of a satire / comedy. And but you know, you're quite right in pointing out that I'm not, you know, known for comedy.
So you sort of sneak up on us in a few scenes here.
I try to slip it in whenever I get a chance, and I'd like to, you know, do more. But it's not as if I've made a list of things that I have to do and prioritized everything and put comedy at the top.
But you know what? That's something I'm going to be watching for. May I?
Oh, you certainly may. I'll just move it closer to the top of the list that I don't have.
Been a real pleasure.
Nice to meet you,
Tommy
sir.
Lee Jones, we're talking about Heaven and Earth. And I'm John Tibbetts for KCTV5 in New York City.